YouTube, what is going on? Rich here, and welcome back to another episode of the Football Manager Project, where today we are going to be featuring the Liga BBVA in Spain. Now, if you didn't check out the last episode, guys, where we had a look at the BPL, make sure that you go and check that out. I will leave a link to it in the description. But the aim of this series overall is, now that I think we're about 7 months now into the life of Football Manager 2016, it's to give you some ideas of some new saves that you could do. And essentially, these are teams who you can build up, and you can try and build them up to win the domestic leagues, and in the end, hopefully capitalise and maybe get even some European glory. So it's going to be a project, hence why the series is called the Football Manager Project. So essentially, what we are going to do today, I am going to pick 5 teams for you from the BBVA who would make a very good project. We'll have a little look at the club. We'll look at their finances, any competitions they're in, because some of them will be in the Europa League, and then we'll take a little look at the squad as well. See who the standout players are that you could look out for, that you could build your team around. So without further ado, let's get cracking, and let's have a look at team number 1. So the first team that I am going to choose, guys, is Getafe. Now, Getafe are predicted to finish 20th in Liga BBVA this season, so this will be a real challenge for you. But I know that they have got 1 or 2 solid players that you can build your club around. So they play in a 17,000 all-seater stadium, good training facilities and average youth facilities. Now, if we look at the team, they've got Pedro Leon, who is the captain, and Vicente Gualta, who is going to be your key player. Now, the finances at the moment are just down as secure, so you are going to have to learn to manage on a budget. So Getafe in the season 14-15 finished Liga BBVA in 15th position. So let's have a little look at the senior squad. So they've got a couple of goalkeepers in here. So this is the first man, Guita, who is 28 years old. He looks like a pretty decent keeper, actually. Tendency to punch is quite high, but apart from that, reflexes not too bad at 15, throwing not too bad, concentration 16 and positioning 16, which is something that you would always want in a goalkeeper. So you wouldn't necessarily need to change him over. Made 29 appearances for the club overall, so he's well bedded in. So I think you've got a good start there as far as your goalkeeping situation is concerned. Now, you've got a player here, Santiago Vergini, 26 years old, Argentinian, has got 3 caps for his country, valued at 5.5 million. He can play at centre-back or he can play at right-back, and he's got some pretty decent stats, especially for a centre-back. 14 heading, 15 marking, 15 tackling. He's only 1 point from that next level of being a really, really good player. I'm not sure whether you could get any more out of him because of his age. 16 composure as well will always help. His decisions aren't too bad, and his teamwork and work rate very good. He's got good balance and good jumping as well. A solid centre half for you guys to work with. Just transferred to Getafe in the 15-16 season from Sunderland. So moving over to right back, you've got Damian Suarez. So he's having a look at him as well. Another player that's got some really good stats, mainly going forwards. 18 corners. Get him on your corners, guys. He should hit the target quite a lot of the time. 17 work rate, 16 teamwork, 18 bravery, 16 aggression, fantastic mental stats there. He's got good stamina as well, and he's naturally fit. So his best position in that fullback role. You never know, you might be able to train him as a wing back to push a little bit further forward. Valued at 2 million and contracted as well for 3 years. Now, moving forward through the team, you have got a man that I know very well here from my Inter Milan save, Pablo Sarabia. So I signed him in the second season for my Inter Milan side. He's a quality player, lads. I cannot recommend him highly enough. 16 dribbling, 16 first touch, 16 passing, 17 technique, 16 flair, good physicals as well, 16 agility and 16 pace. He is rapid down those wings. I'm playing him currently on the left hand side, but he can play both sides, left, right, and he can play through the middle in that attacking midfielder role. Contracted only for a year, so if you do come into Getafe, make sure that you get his contract renewed. I think that he did. I signed him because he had a release clause of about £5 million due to them being relegated. So, you know, he's got that in there in his contract. It's something to look out for. But, guys, can't recommend him highly enough. He's made 100 appearances for Getafe, scoring 3 goals. Very, very good player and highly recommended from myself. Now, Getafe have got quite a lot of loan players on their books, but this guy's one of them that stands out. Bernard Mensah, on loan from Atletico, plays either in centre midfield or he can play in that attacking midfield role as well. Only 20 years old, Ghanaian, and he's got a long-standing contract with Atletico, so he will develop. He's definitely a player that will develop, guys. You know, long shots 15, free kick taking 14. His determination is good. Decisions do still need some work, as well as his concentration, but he's got high composure. He's got strong pace as well and acceleration. He'll be rapid going through the middle for you. So, guys, that's the first team that we're going to look at today. Getafe predicted to finish bottom of the league, but I'm sure with a couple of additions to a team that has already got a few decent players, that you could build on them pretty quickly. So the second team that we're going to look at today is Atletico Bilbao, a team that I really do like the look of. They play in a 53,000 all-seater stadium, predicted to finish 6th in the league with excellent training facilities and superb youth facilities. Now, as well as that, you will also, in your first season, you're qualified for the Europa League. So a few players to look out for are, you've got the captain, who is Gupergi. I will butcher names, guys, now, so I do apologise. You've got the vice-captain, Irilzoz, and then you've got the key player of Laporte, the centre-back. Now, the club finances are down as rich, so you should be able to get a few decent players on your books as soon as you get into the club. Now, as far as the players are concerned, let's have a little look through. So this is the goalkeeper, who we talked about at the start. So this is Irilzoz. Some solid stats for a keeper, actually. 16 command of area, 16 reflexes, and 16 throw-in as well. Good bravery, strength is high, and all his other all-round stats are pretty solid. So I can't see you needing to invest in a goalkeeper as soon as you come into the club. But one thing to bear in mind, he has only got a year left on his contract and he is ageing at 34 years old. Now, going from the back as well, here is Laporte himself. A very, very solid player for you to start off with. Only 21 years old, not yet capped for the senior French team, but valued at £15 million, and he still has 4 years left on his deal. 16 passing, which is always very good for a defender. Heading 15, 15 marking, and 17 tackling is stats that you can develop as well, especially the heading and the marking, guys. So get him trained up. He will be a very, very good defender for you. 16 anticipation and 16 positioning as well. And he's got good pace. You don't find that many centre-backs that have got really, really good pace, but this guy is one of them. You would be able to sell him, if you did, for a lot of money. Now, you've also got Inaki Williams in here, who you can put on your left-hand side. His stats don't look that great, though, to me. He's valued. He's got very high value, but looking at him, I just think, well, he's quick. So I don't know if he's someone that you maybe want to cash in on straight away. Not sure what sort of progress he makes in the game, but that's for you guys to decide and test and find out. But for me, I don't think his stats look good enough for him to get in my team every week if we're looking to develop this squad. Someone that does look pretty decent, though, is centre midfielder Beñat. I like the look of him. 7.5 million, 4 caps for Spain, and he's still got 3 years left to run on his contract. 15 first touch, 15 free kick taking as well, 15 long shots, so get him on that shoot on sight instruction. Good passing, good teamwork, good determination, very, very good player to have in the middle. His media description is a cultured midfielder, arrives late into the opponent's area, and he does try the long range pass as well as switching the ball to the other flank. So he could be a pretty good flair player for you guys in that middle of the park. And up front, you have got this man. He is aging. He's 34 years old now. It's Adjuriz. 1 cap for Spain, only valued at 1.6 million with a couple of years left on his contract. But 16 finishing and 19 heading, you cannot argue with. Get that ball into the box, he will do some damage. 19 bravery, 16 composure, 18 determination, and 17 work rate are his standout mental stats. He's an experienced striker, plays short, simple passes, and he places his shots and he tries to beat the offside trap. Although he isn't very quick at all. 11 acceleration and 12 pace is what you'll have to deal with. Maybe get a quick player up front with him, and this guy will be a very, very solid player for you. 48 goals in 98 appearances for Atletico Bilbao so far in his career. So guys, that's the second team that we're going to look at. Atletico Bilbao would be another very interesting save for you to start. The third team we're going to look at, guys, is Real Sociedad. They are predicted to finish 9th in the league this season. 32,000 all-seater stadium with excellent training facilities and superb youth facilities. You will not have European football with this side when your season starts. So all you've got to concentrate on is your league and your Spanish Cup. So plenty of time for you to build and not get distracted by European competition. Manager currently Eusebio. Captain is Xavi Prieto. No vice captain currently, and key player, former Arsenal man I believe, Carlos Vela. Now the finances are down as secure, so you're not going to have any kind of big money to spend. And they're a team that have dropped in the last few years as far as their performance is concerned. 4th in 12-13, 7th in 13-14, and 12th in 14-15. So even though they've got some interesting players, they are on a little bit of a downward spiral. Now, as far as the players are concerned, let's have a look at a few of those. So starting from the back, the goalkeeper that I believe you have is Rulli. Looks like a decent player actually, only 23 years old, Argentinian, 6.25 million, but only a year left on his contract, so that's one thing to watch out for. 18 one-on-ones and 18 reflexes, 16 anticipation, 17 natural fitness. His other stuff will come, guys, it will come. Right, guys, so your next player to look out for is Diego Reyes, on loan from FC Porto, 27 caps for Mexico at only 22 years of age, so he's got a pretty good amount of experience on him. 16 marking and 16 tackling. It's some great stats for a centre-back, but his heading isn't that brilliant. To say his heading isn't that brilliant, he's only 13 heading, but he's got 16 jumping reach. So, you know, that kind of one outweighs the other in some sort of way. But not a bad player. You could probably pick up better, I'd imagine, from the loan market or from the transfers if they do give you any money. Now, alongside him at centre-back, you've got Inigo Martinez. Again, 24 years old, Spanish, no caps for the country, but he's valued at 10 million. 2 years left on his contract. 16 tackling, 14 passing, which is decent for a centre-back, as well as 15 marking. He's also got 16 long shots, which is a bit weird, and his mentals are very, very good as far as aggression, anticipation, bravery, determination, and positioning as well. He's a strong centre-back, and he likes to shoot from distance and try long-range passes. So I can't decide if he could either be brilliant or he could be a bit of a liability, but it'd still be someone that you could test out, guys. He's made 100 and how many appearances? 182 appearances for Real Sociedad. So he's well experienced in La Liga BBVA, and yeah, he might do all right for you. You've also got the defensive midfielder Illaramendi, formerly used to play for Real Madrid. I believe actually he was at Real Sociedad before, and they sold him for a massive fee. Yeah, there you go. He was at Real Sociedad all of his career. He went to Real Madrid for 33 million, and he did get game time there, to be fair, and then he's come back to Real Sociedad for 11.5 million, so they made almost 20 million profit on him, and he's only 25 years old. To say how much experience he's got 200 appearances overall, no caps for Spain, plays as a defensive midfielder, he's got good passing, and he's got good mental stats, good passing, good first touch, and good marking. He's got what you'd need from a defensive midfielder. But any kind of like free kick taking, heading, long shots is poor. But for me, he does his job and he would be a good player for you. Final player that we're going to look at is the former Arsenal player, Carlos Vela. Now, he spent a few years at Arsenal, went on loan to West Brom for a few games as well, and then originally came to Sociedad on loan, but moved here in 12-13 for 2.6 million. But again, he's a solid player. He can play on the left, right, or he can play on attacking midfield. 18 dribbling, 17 finishing as well. You could also stick him up front. 17 first touch, 16 passing, and 19 technique. Good flair as well, and off the ball. And his physicals are brilliant. 17 acceleration and agility, and 16 pace. So he's no slouch either. So guys, that is team number 3, Real Sociedad. That would be another good save for you. Team number 4 is going to be Sevilla. So Sevilla will start life in the European Champions Cup. So you might say, you know, is it really a project? But when you've got two teams like Real Madrid and Barcelona at the top of the Spanish league who have dominated it for years and years and years, and you've finally got Atletico Madrid who are starting to get in there now, you could make this happen with Sevilla. So they've got a 45,000 all-seater stadium, superb training facilities and great youth facilities as well. Like I say, due to winning the Europa League the season before, you'll start life in the Champions Cup, and they're predicted to finish 4th. Now, they've got a few players that stand out. You've got Jose Antonio Reyes, another former Arsenal player, Koke, who is the vice-captain, and Banaga, who is the key player for them. So just to look at a few players in the squad, going from the back again, you've got Beto, who will be your goalkeeper, 33 years old, very, very experienced, 330 career appearances so far, still contracted for another couple of years, and he's got 11 caps for Portugal. Good communication, and he's got decent one-on-ones, decent reflexes, about what you'd expect for a 33-year-old, really. His mentals are quite good as well, especially in bravery, leadership, and work rate. And not bad physical stats. So you might be able to keep him for a year or two before you look to move on for another goalkeeper. Now, also on loan from Tottenham, you've got Federico Fazio. 19 heading, 16 marking, and 15 tackling are solid stats for a centre-back. Described in the media as a towering centre-back. You'll probably have him on loan for the full season from Tottenham. Argentinian, 2 caps. 28 years old. He is a little bit older than what I thought he was. But he's contracted at Tottenham for 3 years. So if he does well for you, you might be able to get him back again and eventually buy him. 16 anticipation and good strength and good jumping reach as well. A solid centre-back to start your life at Sevilla. Now, right back here, I've got the vice-captain of Koke. He's also 28 years old, so Sevilla could be a squad that are starting to age. Some of them are starting to age, and some of them are coming to the peak of their career. But Koke looks like a very good fullback. He's got, his mental stats are really good, with 17 determination and 16 leadership. He's good off the ball as well, and he's got a high work rate, 274. Career appearances, so plenty of experience in there. Never had a cap for his country though, which I'm quite surprised about. His long shots aren't bad. He's got 11 marking, 14 passing, which is not too bad. None of these stats will improve though, sadly. So you might keep him for the season and maybe look to move him on. Currently valued at 4.7 million. Now this is the key player that Sevilla are rocking with, Eva Banaga. Plays in the central midfield, described as a flamboyant midfielder. That 18 first touch, 18 passing and 18 technique will stand you in good stead. Another one that's got plenty of experience with 249 appearances, and he's got 28 caps for his country as well. Valued at 12 million, but only under contract for another year, so something that you will have to look out for. 18 composure, 16 decisions and 16 flair, as well as 18 vision. He will thread those passes through to your strikers. Now, even at 31 years of age, Jose Antonio Reyes, the former Arsenal player, will still be a key member of your squad. And looking at his stats, you can see why. His technical stats are absolutely outstanding for a 31-year-old. 16 crossing and 19 dribbling, as well as 16 first touch and 16 passing and 18 technique is absolutely phenomenal. Described as a flamboyant winger, he does try that killer ball and he likes to cut inside from both wings, so probably best played as an inside forward. He's still got 2 years left on his contract as well, valued at 3.5 million, 21 caps for Spain, so plenty of experience in there. But his mental stats are also absolutely outstanding. 18 flair, he's got good leadership, so you could quite happily make him captain if you've got injuries in your team, and 16 vision as well. Quickly, two more players that you can look at is Kolopinyanko, the first one, the Ukrainian, 46 caps for his country to date. I always remember him giving England problems anytime England have ever played the Ukraine. 18 dribbling and 16 first touch again. Described as a winger, 155 appearances at 25 years old. Not too bad at all. Vastly experienced player. He's still got 4 years left on his contract, and if you did want to sell him, you could get up to 35 million plus for him. Final player that we're going to look at, striker Gamero. Only down as 15 finishing, which I'm a little bit surprised at. He had quite a good game against Liverpool the other night in the Europa League final, and he has been their danger man this season. As at the start of the 15-16 season, 61 appearances for Sevilla and 23 goals. 8 caps for France as well, but 16 first touch and 16 penalty taking as well. You can get him on the penalties. 16 anticipation and 18 off the ball will stand him in good stead as your striker. So that's another review of Sevilla, the fourth team that we are going to be looking at in this save. And the final team, guys, who would make a fantastic save in Liga BBVA, in my opinion, is Villarreal. Predicted to finish 7th in the league. They play in that 25,000 seater stadium with impressive training facilities and great youth facilities. They will be in, you'll start your life in the Europa League with them. So, you know, lots to concentrate on as far as Sevilla is concerned. 3 competitions, Liga BBVA, Europa League and the Spanish Cup. But 7th is more than achievable. Now, they did have a year out in season 12-13 where they actually played in Liga Adelante, but they were straight back up, finished in 6th position in their first season back, and they also finished in 6th position in the 14-15 season. Captain is Bruno, vice captain is Musa Chicho, and Bruno is also their key player. Now, going from back to front as we usually do, they've got 2 goalkeepers. This one is currently injured, damaged cruciate ligaments for Asenjo, but once you get him back, he's out for 4 to 5 months. 26 years old, good age for a keeper, valued at 8 million. 18 reflexes, 16 bravery and 17 concentration. Looks as though he will be very good for you, but in the meantime, you've got Ariloa on loan from PSG, who doesn't look too bad, only 22 years old. But personally, I'd probably look to get somebody else in. I do like the look of Victor Ruiz, who will be your centre-back for the season. 16 heading, 16 marking and 14 tackling, 26 years old. Formerly of Valencia as well. Has now had a couple of years at Villarreal. 16 bravery, positioning and work rate as well as that strength. He's a typical centre-back for you. Now, moving forward through the squad, your defensive midfielder and experienced midfielder will be Bruno. So Bruno is also the captain of the club and the key player. You can see why, really. He's got 15 leadership, but good first touch and passing, everything you want from a defensive midfielder. His mental stats are absolutely brilliant, including his positioning and his teamwork, concentration and decisions. You won't get many mistakes out of him, so he will definitely do the job, as well as that 17 stamina that you get out of him. Now, this man, Denis Suarez, will be one of your key players, in my opinion, throughout the first season that you're there. He's still contracted for another 4 years, already worth £12 million at only 21 years old. You can play him anywhere on the left-hand side or even in the middle. Described as a flamboyant midfielder with 17 for first touch and 16 technique, as well as 18 vision and 16 anticipation. He will be absolutely brilliant for you. I've tried to sign him a couple of times in my saves, and after a couple of years, he just costs a lot of money. You know, over £20 million is what you can get for him if you decide to sell him. Finally, up front, you have got 1 or 2 options. You've got Adrian here, who is on loan from FC Porto. His finishing's not great, but he's got good dribbling and good first touch and technique. Might get you a few goals, but so far to date in his career, 259 games and 32 goals. Not the best in the world. Leo Baptistio, on loan from Atletico, looks again as though he's got one or two a decent set of stats, but at only 22 years old, he is still learning. You've got the veteran in your squad, Roberto Soldado, who might get you a few more goals as the season goes on, but you will be without him for up to the first 3 months due to a damaged neck. But his stats, 386 games, 175 goals, much better than the other two. If I were you in this save, I'd try and get yourself a solid striker on the books straight away at Villarreal. Guys, that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this video gives you a few ideas as well, a few fresh ideas of saves that you could get through in your Football Manager career until Football Manager 2017 comes out. But if you've enjoyed this video, guys, please do drop a like on it. Make sure you subscribe to the FM Scout YouTube channel. Also subscribe to my channel. I will leave a link to that in the description. But until then, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.